Let's discuss NPF batteries and which one might be right for you. Here's a comparison of a V-mount compared to these three NPF batteries. And this is 10,350 milliamp hours. Well, these ones are all 10,500 milliamp hours. Hello, this is Eric of Spark eStudio. Now these three batteries here, only one of these right here was sent for review, but the point of this video is to find out which one works for you and why you may choose even the most basic option. Now let's get started. Yeah. Included items with this Neewer NW-F970U is a user manual, an instruction manual, and a USB Type-C to C cable for charging this NPF battery through USB-C, or you can charge it normally just like any other NPF battery. Now let's find out the differences between these and how you may use it to work for you. Let's talk about NPF batteries and why we might choose one over the other. Now this is a V-mount battery. That's about the same capacity as all these. These are all 10,500 milliamp hours and each has its own advantage. Rounding out these batteries, we're left with three options. Let's start with the most basic of these options. Nothing for ports on it, and that is absolutely fine. We might want to choose an NPF battery plate for either charging or a charger to charge it, and an NPF battery plate of course gives us more ports that we can deal with. Going to the step-up model, we have indicator lights to show the battery percentage at 25% increments. It has USB Type-C up to 20 watts of power delivery. We have USB Type-A underneath the casing right here. This also comes in black, but this is the color I purchased. And mind you, all of these are from Neewer, and yes, of course, as I mentioned, these particular ones are self-purchased. And this here is the step-up model, which is the new type, and this has the percentage display built on, which is not very common in the world of NPF batteries. I would like to know, do you use a V-mount battery or an NPF battery? And if you use either of them, why do you choose one over the other? Inquiring minds would like to know. Leave it in comments below. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. Why might you choose one over the other? Other than the fact that this shows the percentage right down to the detail. Well, for one, it's not only just about the power delivery of this being only 20 watts and this being 45 watts. And the total power, by the way, of this output is 55 watts power delivery. I believe this one might be like 30 watts of power delivery possible. Well, we got one other advantage that makes it more similar to this. This NPF battery has 8 protections built into it. Electric shock protection, as well as overheat protection, over voltage protection, short circuit protection, over discharge protection, over current protection, overcharge protection, overload protection. So if you actually push too much out of it, it has protections to prevent damage to this battery. Wait 1 minute, these have 6 of the 8 protections. This is simply missing overload protection and over discharge protection. Now what that means is I can discharge these to the point of damaging these batteries, and I can also overload and put too much of a load on these and possibly damage them, while the other one has those protections built in. So there's that. Well, let's do a couple of configurations to show you why you might want something with more options versus something more basic, especially if you plan to expand your studio beyond what you have now. Why would we need anything more than that? What if we want to power the camera and the light at the same time? Well, that's where we're going to either have to deal with an NPF battery plate, or we can simply, well, let's use the battery itself. Here's the next battery up, and here's the light powered on. And how do I power this camera? I'm going to go to the USB Type-C right here, plug that in, and plug that into the camera USB-C on the side right here. And what do we see? We can see there's now a battery symbol showing that it's charging the camera at the same time. And this allows us to have redundancy of having the battery inside the camera until it drains normally, but this will be charging the entire time for this. And now we can take this even a step further using the USB-A type port. Okay, so, but wait a minute, Eric, we can do all this with an NPF battery plate, and you're right. We can use the basic battery and an NPF battery plate and therefore just save your money, right? Versus this. Trigger warning in 3, 2, 1, 0. Dummy battery. Oh no! Okay, that was enough of that. So, why am I using a dummy battery, and what if I want to do game streaming USB to PC? Because I'm using the HDMI already. I can't just use my little Aver media and go HDMI to PC if I'm already using the monitor. I could do, of course, another cable out to the PC, and then it gets really messy. What does this have to do at all with having the other battery? It's been hours game streaming, or I'm on a conference call and my battery's running low. Now what do I do? Do I swap it out without redundancy? I'm in trouble now, aren't I? Battery bank. Or I can simply grab a charger and charge this while using this. In case it wasn't already clear, this can input 45 watts to charge it as well as output 45 watts. So we can power very quickly. Now this one here is 20 watts input output. So this one can charge at more than double the speed of this. We're doing a video shoot or some photos for a company that doesn't require some fancy looking camera to do it and simply depend on your work. We can check the battery level with indicator lights, just like this battery. And this battery here plus the NPF battery plate is actually more expensive than this. Here's a USB cable where it all went around. Interesting. And now we showed up at the same camera shoot with this battery with a cleaner look without a cable going this way. And on top of that, we still have the battery indication on the bottom as well as 100% battery life listed right here, which will show us the battery life as we go. So we have dual indicators, and not only that, I still have this USB cable output free plus the USB-A as well. We can actually charge devices like our mobile phone with this or this, and to use this as a battery bank, we'll have to get a fancy plate like this. That monitor and even the light has an NPF battery slot. I could just use one of these many other batteries, and in fact I could just use another basic battery right here and get a second one. It's about the same price as that one battery. We grab a second battery and double the weight. When we put it on top of the monitor or on top of the camera, be it a light or whatever, we also make the camera more unstable, having the weight higher up. So the camera is going to have a tendency to be not as stable. So we got to note that one, as well as that one battery adds less than 30% extra weight. 300 grams, 337 grams, 380 grams. Here's another real world example. We don't want an NPF plate. We don't want a rail system. We want to keep it basic. Yes, the weight is a little bit higher, but I saved weight not having an NPF plate or a rail system or anything else. It's just basic what we want. I can do power redundancy to my camera while using this monitor. With the basic battery, I can't do such a thing. In fact, I have another USB port free yet to power something else. Now, if you want to see anything about V-mounts, check out the video right here. Why might you choose a V-mount battery? Because it can output more power. Even the smallest of these can power 100 watts power delivery, and the largest of these can power over 200 watts of power output. Wow, that can power my studio lights, my camera, my monitor, and more than that.